Hello, this is wmpyr here with an unofficial response video to GoldenBell Training. Okay, so this guy made a video about 5 months ago, the problem with Wing Chun. This was based off of Wing Chun in a real fight. What happened was, apparently, this video went viral on Facebook where a Wing Chun instructor was holding a class in his backyard, and this guy that was wearing a striped shirt, they call him Waldo because of the shirt, and so Waldo was there being kind of a troll, just watching the class. And then he just became so annoying that they got into it, turned into a full-blown altercation. So this video talks about that fight, and I believe that the GoldenBell Training instructor, this guy talks about it. He brings up some really good points, in my opinion. And the first one was he was talking about, you know, one of the very first problems is that people think that when you use Wing Chun in a real life situation, that it's going to look like Yip Man, like what you see in Hollywood. And he's saying this is not true, that it's not going to look like that. So people need to understand that. It's not going to look like what you see in a Hollywood movie. I 100% agree. But on top of that, let me extrapolate on it, and let me further say that what you see in a Wing Chun class, okay, the way if you're a serious Wing Chun practitioner, the way that you practice in class, that is not the way it's going to look like in the street. Okay, so forget Hollywood. Yeah, I totally agree. It's not going to look like Hollywood, but I'm saying what you see in class is not what you're going to see in the street. Why? And the reason is because what you're doing in class, what is the purpose? Are you trying to beat the other person? Because then that's what you're doing in a street, right? In a street situation, you're trying to defeat the other person. No, what you're doing in class is you're trying to learn. You're trying to learn the skill sets that for generations it's been passed down, and the Wing Chun community has, pretty much decided that this is the training methods necessary to learn the skills of Wing Chun. So what you're doing in class is exactly that. You are learning the skills of Wing Chun, not proving that the skills work better than another style, or this is how you fight. That's not what you're doing in class. You're learning. So it's totally different. Learning environment, and then here is a full-blown street fight where you gotta test yourself. Two totally different environments. So of course it's gonna not be the same at all. I think that's logical. Completely logical. The goal, everything, it's completely different, right? So yeah, that's something I think people need to understand is that the real fight is not going to look like the textbook. Because I have seen Wing Chun people that can fight for real, and people look at it and they go, that's not Wing Chun. And it's like, they trained Wing Chun, they live Wing Chun, their mind is Wing Chun, it is Wing Chun. Well, just because it doesn't look like the textbook doesn't mean it's not Wing Chun. They're coming from that perspective. So it is. That's how I feel. All right, the second point that this instructor from GoldenBell Training brings up that I think is another great point. And so he was talking about you have to make the style your own. And this was part of the reason why he was saying that it doesn't look like the textbook. Okay, it doesn't look like what you see in Hollywood or whatever, because for each individual, the way they use Wing Chun, their expression of Wing Chun is going to be different. And I think this is a great point, and that is the way FMA was taught to me. And I believe you got to do this with every style, even though In my case, in FMA, they made it like black and white clear. This is the way FMA is taught. Like, this is the way you learn it. This is the way it's done. I was taught from the day one. I mean, even before I started the class, the instructor brought a book out, and it was the textbook from Professor Remy Presas, and he showed it to us, and he was like, pass it around. So we all looked at it, and it talked about arnis de mano. And the instructor said that. He said, arnis de mano is the original traditional style from the Philippines. And then he said, but what this guy, what he teaches is called modern arnis. So there's two different styles. Now, I didn't really understand that. I was just too young and dumb, and it was my first martial arts experience. But now I get it. Now I understand that the modern arnis is Professor Remy Presas, it's his own version. Okay, that's his modern arnis. So my instructor has his own modern arnis, which is different from Professor Remy Presas. And same with me. I'm going to have my own version, And so every person is going to have their own. You got to make it your own. Okay, learn the traditional as best and as close as you can to the textbook. And then when it comes to application time, you make it your own. And the examples given by Mr. GoldenBell Training was that he brought up Sifu Augustine Fong, who had combined Wing Chun with Choi Lei Foot. Okay, the kicking from Choi Lei Foot. And then he also talked about this other instructor, I don't remember the name, but combined Wing Chun with boxing. So everybody's going to do something, their Wing Chun differently and express it differently. So how do you make it your own? Well, for me, I combined it with boxing. That's what one of the instructors said. And that's great, and that's what you're supposed to do, okay? Now, what I want to further say is that makes it kind of sound like you need to combine it with another style. And in my teacher's case, he did that. And my teacher's teacher, Professor Remy Presas, he did that as well. From what I know, for sure, he combined it with pressure point fighting, Okinawan karate, and he also combined it with small circle jiu-jitsu. He may have combined more into it, but I know for sure those two with arnis de mano, and that is how you get modern arnis from Professor Remy Presas. I don't know about Ernesto Presas, because it's the Presas brothers, but for sure, Remy Presas, there you go. I think he also had other backgrounds in martial arts like judo and karate, other style of karate. So I think that's also included. But anyway, those two for sure. Okay. So in my case, I also big into cross training. So I combined with a lot of styles. But this is giving the wrong impression. It makes you think that you need to combine with other styles. And the answer is no, you don't need to. Okay. You could study only one style, but within that one style, there's a lot. Most styles have so much to offer. So let's say it's Wing Chun. And let's say you are a Wing Chun guy and you're going to really, really, really focus on the chain punching. Okay, that's you. There might be somebody else that really, really, really focus on the Chi Sao aspect. And there's another person that may really, really focus on the butterfly swords. So these are all different directions that you could take Wing Chun, and there's more. There's infinitely more. And that depends on the person. Like maybe one person all they do is the wooden dummy, the mukjong, like crazy. So their forearms are like steel, right? Like a Muay Thai fighter's shins. And their knuckles are super hard, and that's how they fight. So it could be so different from Wing Chun practitioner to Wing Chun practitioner because each person gets to make it their own. So you don't have to combine styles to do that. That's my point here. So I hope that makes sense. And that's it for now. Thank you for listening, and take care, folks.